Hello ninjas, Sensei Brad here on the Ninja Cam, bringing you part 3 of Coin Wizard. So, we should have our map set up, we have our camera set up, and now we're going to be adding a game object and actually making this a game. So let's get to it. So where we left off, we have our camera set up. Our character can run around this area with WASD. And now we've just got to get a coin added in here that falls down. So the first thing we want to do is we need points. So if you look in the top right here, our player doesn't have a score and he doesn't have a high score. So let's fix that before we add any coins, because that's a core part of a game, is to have a score. So to do that, we're actually going to create a server script. So if you scroll down to server script service right here, you can click this plus mark and then just click script. Now we need to rename this script. So click rename, right click, left click rename, and we're going to call this scores. So we'll delete this hello world text here. So how do we make the game keep track of scores and high scores and all that? So this is going to be a little bit of code that we have to write. So the first thing is we need a local variable, and we're going to call this data store service. And to get this started, we're going to type game colon, and to type that colon, it's just to the right of your L key. So you're going to hold shift and then press that key just to the right of your L key, and it'll make that symbol there. So that's game colon get service and then parenthesis quotation mark. Quotation is to the left of your enter key. Hold the shift key and press that quotation mark key. And we're going to type data store service. So what this does is it sets up some data on our server that we can use. So we're also going to create a local variable called myDataStore. And we're just going to make this equal the variable we just created, data store service. It should pop up and you just press enter to type it in. So check that out. I just typed D and it already is there, data store service. I just have to press enter. It does all the typing for us. Data store service colon, and then we want to type get data store. It's right here. You can just use your arrow keys to go up and down. It's very similar to Code Combat if you've played that. We just want to go to get data store and press enter. It adds the parentheses for us, and we want to do quotations my data store, just like that. So now we have our two variables, and now we want to create a function for the game. So we're going to say game players dot players player add. Oh, there it is, player added. Just press enter, and then colon connect function, and we're going to type player right there. So we can erase that last last parenthesis there. So game.players.player added colon connect function player. So basically this script is going to run when a player connects to the game. So let's go ahead and write this script. When we press enter, it will automatically add the end here. So we need to put everything in between this game line and this end line. So we're going to create another variable. We're going to call it local leader stats. And that's going to equal instance dot new, and that's going to be folder. So what we just did here is we created a folder, and we need to give this folder a name. So this is going to be leader stats because that's the name of our variable here. That folder can be referenced with this variable. So that folder, leader stats.name, well, let's give it a name and let's call that folder leader stats. Now let's also do leader stats dot parent equals player. So the parent of this folder belongs to the player. So basically we're just saying this folder is that player's. No other player has this folder. That is this player's folder. So now that we have this folder, let's go ahead and add some stuff to it. So we're going to do another local variable, and we're going to call this hscore. That stands for high score. So we're going to make that equal instance dot new, and we're going to say int value. So what we're doing is we're creating an integer value that we're going to be saving to our player's folder. An integer is just a number. So our high score is going to be a number. So let's give this high score variable a name. Let's do hscore.name, just like we did our folder, and we're going to name it high score. Okay? Now let's do hscore.parent equals leader stats. So basically, we're adding this high score into the folder we created. So we created a folder, we called it leader stats, and then inside of this folder, we're creating a high score. So to visually represent this, I can pull up my desktop here, and what we did is we just created a folder, right? We called it, what did we call that folder? We called it leader stats. So we'll do rename leader stats. Okay, and then inside of this folder, okay, it's empty right now. But this next line of code is going to create an integer value inside the folder. So we're going to do new, and we're just going to do this, and this is called high score. So this is basically what we just did with code. So we create a folder, and then we create an integer value within the folder called high score. It's just like that. So let's continue. We have our high score, but now we need our current score. Now this current score, we're going to make a global variable. We want to be able to reference this anywhere at any time. To do that, we're going to do _G, capital G, and dot. So now anything I put after this becomes a global variable. And that global variable is going to be called C_score, which C stands for current. So our current score. And that current score is going to equal instance.new int value. So again, that score is an integer. It's just a number. So let's go ahead and give this C_score a name. Now, anytime we reference this global variable, we have to put _G dot in front of it. So that's why I've put that there again. So we're going to put capital G dot score dot name, just like we did above, and we're going to name this score, just like that. And the last thing we need to do, capital G dot C_score dot parent, and just like before, that's going to be leader stats. We put this value inside of that folder. So now that we have this folder created with these integer values in it, something really cool happens when we start our game. So we can press play now. And now look at this. I have a high score and I have a score. It's that easy. So we've created the folder, and you can actually see the folder over here. We can go to players, the T-virus, and look, there's our leader stats folder. And inside of there, we have our high score and our score. And it has a value of 0 and this has a value of 0. So we could change our high score to 100. This is how that works. So that's all we did. We created a folder and put numbers in it and gave those numbers a name. So now that we have score, let's go ahead and move on to the coin. So that was a lot of work to get that done. So let's go to stop the game. Let's go ahead and open up our toolbox. I'm going to move my camera here because our toolbox is right down here. If you don't see your toolbox, just go to the Home tab and then click the toolbox and it should appear. Just like that. So inside here you can see I've searched for coin. So again, you just can type whatever you want in here. If we type in coin, that's exactly what we get. So I'm going to grab this very first one. It is called Roblox Collectible. So all I have to do is click it one time and it appears in the game. Just like that. It's that easy. So our coin here has a lot of unneeded scripts in it. We don't need this leaderboard script, so we're going to right click and then left click delete. We don't need this float script, so we're going to right click the float script and delete it. And we don't need this timed regen, so we're going to right click that script and delete that. We're going to leave our spin script there because that just makes the coin spin, and we don't have to worry about writing that code because it's already written for us. And we're going to look at this get cash script. So we want to add score. We want to add 1 to our score. We don't want to add 1 to our cash or our points. So you can see here it's trying to add to our points. But we don't want to do that. We want to add to our score. But we'll come back to this. First, let's get this coin into our game area down here. So let's just click on our coin and go to position, and let's change our coin's position to the following. We're going to change it to -27, comma, 10, comma, -10, and then press enter. And boom, our coin is down here where we can see it. So let's go ahead and play the game, and let's look at that spinning coin script. You can see it's just making our coin spin. But now, let's go back to our collectible code. So let's move this coin down just a little bit more. I think this coin's a little bit too high. So let's move it down to, let's do it there. So let's change that position number to, let's just do -1. So -27 is X, -1 is Y, and the Z is -10. So we have our coin here, and now if we play the game, we can walk into this coin and collect it, but it doesn't add to our score. So let's, again, just like we did with the camera script, let's try to read this script, look at what it's doing, and change it to do what we want it to do. So, first thing is, let's go ahead and change this. So this looks a little confusing, but it's not so bad. Basically, if we touch this coin, it's going to find which player touched the coin. If there is a player that touched the coin, this just says if player does not equal nil, which says a player did touch the coin, then we're going to save what player touched it to this player variable. So now that we have this player variable, we're going to say if this player does not equal nil, so we're just double checking that there was no error that a player actually touched the coin. This is where it gets interesting. We're going to find leader stats. Well, remember that script we wrote that created the leader stats folder? Well, here it says that our score needs to be points. but we didn't call ours that. So if we go back to our server script and go to scores, we named ours score. So all we have to do, we named ours leader stats, and ours is called score. So let's go back to our get cache script, and let's just change this to score. And there we go. Now, if we play the game, we should be able to collect, and look at that, we got 1 point. We got 1 score. But our high score didn't go up. Our high score needs to match our best score, right? So let's go back to our get cache script. If you can't find it up here, you can just go to the coin, and the coin has the get cache script here. This is a little confusing calling it get cache, so let's rename this get score. There we go. Now it makes more sense. We can remember what this script does. So the amount of score we want to get is 1. Well, we want to also change the high score value. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say if score.value is greater than, well, oh wait, we can't reference the high score yet because we can only get the score. So let's go ahead and make another local variable. So we're going to call this local h score. And that's going to equal stats colon find first child. And remember what we named it? Let's double check. Go to our scores. We named it high score. So that's what we're going to type in. High score. And just like that, we've saved our high score. We're referencing that number in that folder with the variable h score. So now back to our if statement, we can say if score.value is greater than h score.value, then enter h score.value equals score.value. So now as we collect coins and earn score, it will also increase our high score if it's greater. So you can see my high score is 0, and if I collect this coin, it also increases my high score. Now let's restart that again. This time I'm going to go to my player folder, and I'm going to change my high score. Let's change my high score to 5. Okay? Well now, then as my score is not higher than my high score, wait, what did I do wrong? Let's see what error Brad made. This requires a ninja cam. Sometimes coders make mistakes. It's okay. You just have to debug, figure out what's going wrong, and fix it. Debugging is a very common thing that you'll be doing while you're coding. So this is a perfect chance for us to look at that and try to figure out what's going wrong. So, right here, we said if score.value is greater than h score.value, then h score.value equals score.value. So, what is going on here? We have h score. I'm making sure I spelled everything correctly. We'll come back to that. Let's just keep moving. It might fix itself, because another thing is sometimes you think there's an error in your code, and then you quickly realize there was no error. It was just that your code was not finished. So it also could have been that I changed my code with the folder rather than changing it with the game. So let's finish coding this coin, and let's see if the error persists. So we have this. We're going to leave a comment for us. All we have to do is do 2 dashes. That's just next to the 0 key. to the right of it, to the right of the 0 key. You just press that twice, and we're going to say might have an error. So that just leaves a note for us letting us know that, hey, we might need to come back and check this line of code. So now let's keep moving. So we have that. Well, let's make our coin jump to a random position after we touch it. So let's go down here after the if statement, and we're going to do move to random location. This is just letting us know, again, leaving a note that this is what this code does. So we need some variables here. The first variable is going to be local XX. So we need our x variable to equal something. We're going to press enter and do local YY. And of course we need local ZZ. So we have an x variable, a y variable, and a z variable. So let's go ahead and get some numbers. So if we take our coin here and start moving it around, we click on home, click on move, and we get these right here. Now we can watch our position down here. I'm going to highlight that. We can watch our position change. So when our coin is way over here, well, that looks like it's about a 4. I think we could even push this all the way over to a 3. I think a 3 would be a good spot to have it, because we don't want it too far over. So I think 3 is good there, and then this looks like a -40. So that's our z. So we know our z is going to be 3 and -40. Now this is our x. This is going to be, it looks like we need this to be about maybe -31. And then this needs to be about -17. So that's going to be our range for our coin. So I just want to go back really quick to Taco Wiz, and let's see inside. So at our taco, you can see that we go to a random position between -180 and 180. And that taco will appear somewhere up here just in a random location. It changes locations. That's exactly what we're doing here. So we're just finding these numbers to know where our coin needs to spawn. And for how far up the coin is, I think we should spawn our coin. It needs to fall down, so somewhere around 23. It's going to go back to the top of the screen, just like Taco Wiz. In Taco Wiz, the top of the screen is 184. In our game, our top of our screen is 23. Or we'll say 23. It's right there. So, alright, so now that we know our numbers, let's go back to our script. And let's say our x value is going to be math.random. You should know this from JavaScript. We're using a math function, and the math function is random. We need our minimum value and our maximum value. So we're going to do -31, comma, -17. And those numbers, we just moved the coin around and found them. So now for our y, we need to do math.random. Oh, oops. This needs to be 25. And then I think it was 23 actually. We'll do 25. It'll be in the brick, but that'll be okay. And then we'll do math.random, and then I believe that was -40 and 3. So there we go. So now we have all these values saved to variables, and we saved a random number to x and a random number to z. So now let's go ahead and put this coin in a random position. So what we're going to do is we're going to reference the script that we're in, and we're going to then talk to the script's parent. The script's parent is the coin. So at this point, we're talking to the coin, and we're going to say, hey coin, your position needs to be updated to a vector 3. A vector 3 sounds weird, like, oh my gosh, what's a vector 3? It's just 3 numbers. That's all a vector 3 is. We're going to do vector3.new, because it's a new location, and we're just going to go to x, y, z. There we go. We're just using our variables. Now, that's not all we want to do here. Let's actually go ahead and lower this down to about 1. Or actually, what was it? -3 is what we have it at. Something like that. So this way, we can collect the coin multiple times. Oh, wait, no, it's way up there. Let me move it back down. I forgot I moved it. I was moving it around to get those numbers. So, alright, let's collect it, and we got 1. Now, it didn't teleport where we wanted it to. Well, let's look at our script and see. Well, right here it's removing the object. Well, we don't want to do that. So let's get rid of that. We don't want to remove the coin once we collect it. We just want it to go to a new location. Alright. And look, we got it. It's moving around after we collect it. But if you notice, our score went up to 30. It just went up to 32. Why is it saying I touched the coin twice? So let's go ahead and fix that. So let's stop that. So in this, we're going to go to the very top, and we're going to make a variable called wait time. And we're going to make that equal 0.1. And all that is this is the time, time between each collision. And then down here, after we collect it, we're just going to do script dot disabled equals true. So we're going to disable the script. We're going to wait for our wait time, which is 0.1. And after we wait that amount of time, we're going to turn our script back on. Disabled equals false. So there we go. So now when we touch our coin, our score shouldn't jump up to 30, it should only jump up by 1. And that's exactly what it does. So now we've got it where we can run around, collect our coin, it jumps to a random position in our designated area, and we're good. So, that's working, but now we want this coin to fall. So let's go ahead and let's make a falling script for our coin. So let's click this plus button next to our coin, and we're going to type in script. There we go. Now let's rename this script. Right-click, left-click rename, and we're going to call it fall. So here's our fall script. We'll erase the code that's in it, which is the print hello world. And this should be very similar to what we've already done. Let's go ahead and do local xx equals math.rand. Well, we don't want to do this all over again, so let's go back to our get score and let's copy this. Except let's change this to I think it was 25 is what we want to put it at. So let's fix that y value to 25, because now our coin is actually going to be falling. So let's go ahead and paste this in. Oops. Let's fix that. So it should look like this once we get it typed up, or you can copy paste it. And also, if it is way over here, all you have to do is highlight those and press Shift and then Tab. Hold Shift and press Tab and it'll push all that over. Let's change this to 25. So we have our random numbers. Let's go ahead and set a speed for our coin. That's going to be a global variable, and we're going to call it coin speed. Coin_speed equals 0. And we're also going to do script.parent, which we're talking to the coin, .position equals, let's do vector3.new, and we need to give it 3 numbers, which is xx, yy, zz. There we go. Now we need the coin to fall, okay? So let's do while true do. So all this is a forever loop. This is simply a forever loop. So we're just going to wait, and then we're going to pick, we're actually going to figure out where our coin is at the moment. So let's do local xx equals script dot parent dot position dot x. We're going to do yy equals script dot parent dot position dot y. Local zz equals script dot parent dot position dot z. So now we know exactly where our coin is, but we want to change the y position of our coin. So let's do yy equals yy minus underscore g dot coin speed. So we're going to minus our coin speed. Well, our coin speed is 0 right now, so let's do 0.1. So it's going to lower it just a little bit. And then let's update the position. So let's say script.parent.position equals vector3.new, and we're going to give it those same positions, xx, yy, zz. So now our coin will slowly fall down the screen. So let's click play and test it out. And look at that, our coin is falling. So let's catch it, and look, it went back up. There we go. So I'm going to end this video here. We've got our coin falling. We've got it adding points. So let's go ahead and wrap this up here, and then in our next video, we will continue making this coin more intriguing and make it exactly how we want. So, back to the Ninja Cam. Thanks for watching. This has been Sensei Brad from Code Ninjas Greenville. We are now making our coin fall down. Our player is catching it. It's working almost like Taco Whiz. Now we just need to make the game end when the coin touches the ground, and we'll also make things a little interesting in the next video by making the coin slowly speed up the more you collect. So we're going to end this one here. Thanks for watching, and be sure to watch part 4.